Welcome back everyone to a top 10 video. Today it's going to be a top 10 worst encounter cards in Marvel Champions. Now in this list I just did the core set because if I did all the sets expansions there's just so many cards to choose from, so I wanted to narrow it down just to one set at a time. So I'll do this set and then the next expansion, Rise of Red Skull, Galaxy Most Wanted and so forth and so forth. So in this list I've chosen 10 of the worst encounter cards in this core set. Now what I say by worst is ones that are the most harsh, most brutal, and ones that have caused me to sort of rage quit or lose the game or pretty much hinder my entire progress. So let's start the list off at number 10. Number 10 is Sonic Boom, a treachery from the Claw encounter set. When revealed, spend a physical, mental and energy resource or exhaust each character you control. And the boost effect reads, if this deals damage, exhaust your hero. So why do I hate this card so much? So first of all, it's okay early in the game. If you defend an attack, take a bit of damage or don't take any damage, and then you draw it, it's fine because you don't need to spend a resource because you're already exhausted, it's okay. But in the late game though, when you have a chump ally out to deflect a hit, say if a Claw attacks you and does like a massive hit with his 2 extra boost cards, and you get a cheap little ally to take poor damage, and you think, yeah, it's fine, they can go away, it's okay. Then they draw that card, it really hinders the progress. And the more allies you have out, the worse it's going to be because it exhausts each character you control as well. So it can really slow you down quite a bit. And the worst part too is the boost effect. So Claw has 2 booster cards when he attacks. And if one of these is this card, say you haven't blocked, say you've got full hit points and you think, yeah, I've got plenty of hit points, go for it, hit me all you want, because next turn I'm going to do this, this or this, and you get this as part of a boost effect, you have to exhaust your hero because you're going to take damage. Because you've chosen to take that full hit, you'll exhaust your hero. So no matter what happens, you're going to exhaust your heroes. And yeah, I know you can spend resources. I know you can spend resources to cancel the effect. Because it's one of each type, energy, physical and mental, sometimes you just can't quite do that with certain decks. And sometimes it needs emptying your entire hand. And if you've got a really good game plan coming up next, it can really hinder your progress. Number 9 is the Armoured Rhino Suit. This is an attachment from the Rhino set, obviously. So this card reads, when any amount of damage is dealt to Rhino, place it here instead, and then if there's at least 5 damage here, discard Armoured Rhino Suit. So why is this card so annoying? It just slows you down quite a bit. Because Rhino is such a brute force, he doesn't really have much in forms of scheme and side schemes and stuff. It goes to the pure physical hits. Damaging Rhino quickly is the key to winning, because he only has one main scheme, and once it advances, you lose. So you want to really go for the hits. And the scheme's no problem, so the more damage you do, the faster you're going to win, which is the case of most villains, I suppose, but with Rhino, you want to do it as early as you can. Well, this card, it just slows you down quite a bit, and also you need to do 5 damage to discard it, so if you've got a weak attack out, or a weak attack event, it takes a long time, it really slows the game down. If you're doing 2-3 damage a turn, it's like 2 turns before you can remove it and attack him, and by then he could have you stunned, or he could toss his card, or he could even kill you. Another thing too is, it really slows down the big hitters, say someone like Hulk, who do a lot of damage. If you want to do Hulk Smash and do like a huge hit for damage, doesn't matter how much you do, it'll all go there instead. Yeah, of course it'll be discarded, but you'll waste an entire big hit to get rid of one little card. Number 8 is the Doomsday Chair from also the Doomsday Chair encounter set featuring MODOK. This is a side scheme which has a massive 8 threat on there and selection token, and also when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for MODOK. Now MODOK is a very big, tough minion, has 8 hit points and retaliate 2. He's a very, very powerful minion, very hard to defeat. But getting this side scheme is such a kick in the teeth. It has 8 threats and a selection token to make your scheme go higher. It's such a hard thing to remove. So not only do you have MODOK, a big, powerful minion, it's got 2 schemes to attack and retaliate 2 and 8 hit points, you have a big, beastie side scheme to go along with it. So drawing the side scheme out means you get MODOK as well. If you have MODOK out already, it's not so bad because you can just finish him off and then go for the side scheme. But if MODOK's not in play, or worse of all, you've just defeated MODOK and the next card you draw is this one and bring him back, it's such a tough scheme minion combo that you can bring out in the game. Number 7 is the Tiger Shark minion. And this is from the Masters of Evil encounter set that you often use with Claw. Now, Massive Evil minions, they're quite varied, some are worse than others, some aren't too bad, but this one was most hated. So Tiger Shark is quite formidable. He has 6 health, 1 scheme, 3 attack, so quite tough for a minion. Now I know Masters of Evil, there are quite powerful minions in that set, but he for me is the worst one. The worst part is though, when he attacks, he gets himself a tough status card, and it just slows you down quite a lot. It means that your allies can't quite deal with him quite as much, and the worst thing is, every time he attacks, he does that, so unless you can kill him quite quickly, he's quite hard to remove. When you're having 6 hit points, and a tough status card too, ideally you want to kill him as soon as you can, the turn he enters the playing area, because if you don't, he can really slow you down. He doesn't have guard or patrol or any pesky keywords, but 6 hit points and 3 attack means quite a minimal opponent, and one you should look out for, keep an eye on a lot. Number 6 is Drone Factory from the Ultron set. This is a side scheme, it has 4 threats, an establishing token. When revealed, place top card of your deck face down as a drone minion, which is quite annoying, but then also place additional threat for each drone minion in play. Now this, in the late game, is a super tough encounter card. Purely because when you're fighting Ultron in the later stages, or an expert, there'll be so many minions out, and plus in multiplayer too, there'll be so many drone minions out in the playing area, and having this will make the threat go up so high. This Toker as well is quite bad. I mean, he has 3 main schemes, of course, but the first one has 3 threats, it goes quite quick. Second one has 10, but it can go quite fast as well. And the last one only has 5, plus you cannot remove threats from the last one. So it's more a case of trying to remove this quickly to start the scheme going up quite fast. And plus, anything that adds more drone minions and amplifies because of the drone minions is a bad encounter card, in my opinion. Number 5 is Legions of Hydra side scheme from Legions of Hydra encounter set, obviously. This is a side scheme with 3 threats, an extra encounter card icon. When revealed, if Madam Hydra is not in play, search the encounter deck and discard half Madam Hydra and put her into play. And then also place 2 additional threats for each Hydra enemy in play. So this side scheme is bad. But when the 4 set first came out, this side scheme wasn't too bad for me. It wasn't too hard at all. But in the later set, especially the Rise of Red Skull, when you find a lot of Hydra enemies, this side scheme can be quite brutal and quite devastating. Madam Hydra, much like MODOK, is quite tough. And this is similar to the Doomsday Chair. It's a big side scheme, puts out a big minion. But the worst part here is the extra threat per Hydra enemy. If you play this in the Red Skull campaign, with Crossbones, and you got the Hydra bombers out and the pesky Hydra enemies, and Crossbones himself, it's a really bad card. So if just the core set, it's not so bad. It's pretty annoying, because Madam Hydra's a tough enemy, and when she comes in play, you'll have 5 threats on there, extra encounter card icon. But in later campaigns and later expansions, this encounter card is so powerful and so irritating because the threat can be insane. I think I've had 11, 13 threats at some point in this card when facing Crossbones in expert mode, and it was so hard to remove the extra encounter card, and I couldn't quite keep up with the threat on the side scheme. Number 4 is Sonic Converter from the Claw encounter set. This is an attachment. It gives Claw +1 attack and a force response. After Claw attacks and damages a character, stun that character. And you can also spend a physical, energy, mental resource to remove the card. This is the attachment. I despise this attachment so much. I really hate this attachment. Purely because it won't be so bad, but Claw has 2 boost cards, and especially on the later stages of Claw, stage 2 and 3, there's a very high chance, unless you're playing protection and you've got a really good build, he's going to damage your character. No matter what you defend, he's going to damage your character. He's going to do a lot of damage. You get us out, that means you can get stunned every single time. And unless you can remove it, or stun Claw, or somehow go to alter ego or discard it, you can't really get around it. You're going to be stunned every turn. So it turns into a case of, you've got to get that card gone. You have to spend an energy, physical and mental resource. Like I said before, some decks it's quite hard to do. Spend those resources. You haven't got all the cards in your hand, it can really slow you down quite a bit. If you get out turn 1, not so bad, discard it and just carry on. But if you get in the late game and you're really, biting the bullet and you're getting close to death and it's getting quite tense, this card can really ruin the game for you. This card can stun you every single turn. And also as well, it extra 1 attack. I mean, Claw has quite a high attack and 2 boost cards. It can do a lot of damage to this card. And being stunned, it can really basically ruin the whole game for you. Number 3 is Master Plan from the Expert Encounter set. I hate this card. This card is so irritating. You basically, when revealed, you place a 4 threat on each side scheme in play. If not, discard cards to get a side scheme and put it into play. Now, I'm going to be honest, putting 4 threats in each side scheme a lot of times hasn't really hindered me that much. I mean, sometimes, especially when playing against Red Skull, oh god, this card against Red Skull is awful. With all the side schemes out, a 4 on each, it can really destroy the whole game. It's pretty much a game over card. against some villains. But also as well, the fact you've got to discard cards to get a side scheme, it wouldn't be so bad if it said search your deck for a side scheme, put into play. It's the fact you've got to discard cards. Now, sometimes you can put us against a villain, say like Rhino, who's only got about 2 or 3 side schemes in his deck, and you could discard cards. You basically milk the entire deck out, discarding cards. I mean, yeah, you can get a side scheme, but you basically got an exercising token, and you've got for the whole deck. So it really slows you down. It's just a bad card to draw. Plus, if you get this out with Doomsday Chair or Legions of Hydra, oh my god, this is an awful encounter card to get. Now, the number 1 spot, it was quite hard for me to decide. I was kind of torn between 2. And I thought, 1 is quite logical. Everyone hates it. Everyone hates drawing it. It is a bad card. But the other one, I despise more than this card. So, number 2 is Shadows of the Past. Now, I know what you're thinking. This could be number 1. This could be the worst counter card you could possibly get. And it is really bad. But number 1 is worse than me. I'll tell you why in a second. Also, Shadows of the Past is, when revealed, search your set-aside cards for your Nemesis minion, Nemesis side scheme, put into play, and the rest of the Nemesis counter set into the encounter deck. So obviously it's a very bad card. You get an instant, quite tough Nemesis that's quite unique to your character, can quite hinder your character's abilities, can work against your strengths. And you get a side scheme too that's probably quite good with that minion too. And also extra encounter cards in the deck that's quite devastating. It's obviously quite a bad card. I won't deny that. It's a bad card. But a lot of times, because only one on the deck, I don't draw it so much, and a lot of times I get it quite in the late game, and sometimes I can quite ignore the minion and the side scheme and go straight for the villain. And yeah, it is bad. But sometimes it's quite weird. You get this card and you're like, oh yeah, my Nemesis minion. A lot of times you're playing Marvel Champions, you don't even get your Nemesis minion out. You just be like playing through and be like, oh yeah, put the Nemesis cards back into the box, didn't even see them. So sometimes it's quite nice to see this card. I mean, if you're playing against an easy villain with quite a powerful deck, or you're quite far ahead and you've got plenty of tail presence out, so you're managing the battle area quite well, it can be quite refreshing to see your Nemesis minion in action and see what they do. A lot of times you get the card and you're like, oh, what's it do? I didn't even remember. Because sometimes Nemesis sets I've barely even seen because it's such a rare card to draw. So this is why it's like number 1. Yeah, it's a bad card. It's a tough minion, a tough side scheme, an extra 3 encounter cards. But there's only one in the entire set, so I don't mind it so much. Number 1, this encounter card from the core set, from the standard set, for me is the worst counter card in the core set alone. I hate this card so much. I draw this card at the worst times. That's why I hate it so much. This is Advance. I hate this card so much. The reason why I put this card in number 1 slot is this card has caused me to lose a game more than any other card in this game. It's just such an annoying card. Every time I'm in hero form and I'm like, look at this main scheme, it's got like, it's quite high, but I think, yeah, it's fine. Scheme for 1, next turn, I'll kill you. Next turn, stage 2, next turn, I'll do this. And I always think, I'll be okay. If I don't draw Advance, I'll be fine. That's the one card, don't draw Advance, I pick the card, oh, it's Advance. Oh, great. And a lot of times, especially in against like Rhino or Ultron, characters with just one main scheme or a main scheme of a low threshold, this can ruin the game. This can make you lose straight away. Let's get Rhino. I mean, it's Rhino and Expert when you just say the main scheme's on 3 or 4 threats, you draw this card, you get a bad boost card, that's it, game over. Doesn't matter how well you're doing, doesn't matter how many cards you have out, this card can ruin the game for you. And the worst part too is, it's not like the other cards where you have to be in hero form for it to have any effects. If it's Alter Ego, it gains Surge. It's fine, you're like, oh, it's Surge, it's fine. No, if you're in hero form, Alter Ego form, the villain's going to scheme and you're probably going to lose. That's why I hate this card so much. And that's it for my top 10 worst encounter cards from the core set list for Marvel Champions. So what cards do you hate from the Marvel Champions core set? Like I said, I'm going to do more of these soon for the expansions, but I want to know what cards you despise from the core set alone and see if any match with my list or any you think I should have added. And that's it for this video. Look forward to more videos coming soon. Like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.